it's just like you bring your own, you know, bring something with DC machine, you get it cut, you take it back home, or like other workspaces for?
Well, the current
the idea, would there be like workspaces?
Sure. The current business plan does call for 20 by 20 foot studios. So it might be artist studios, it might be a dude redoing their car, that type of thing. So the point is to have the equipment available should there be a need, and ideally there probably is going to be some sort of a need. But again, when you talk about like a hacker space, that's kind of like I said, usually it's like about 8 or 10 guys who come together and they ante up some money, they buy some equipment together, and then they share the usage. Our product, being TekVenture, is a little bit more complicated because we see the bigger vision, and that's again something that we've learned because it's about a $5 million project. It's not something that's going to be inexpensive. So the Indianapolis Art Center, for those of you who are familiar with that, in fact, the Broad Ripple Art Fair is this weekend. That's one of our models on the art side. And then the Crucible in Oakland, California is one of our models on the sort of technology side. They do fire arts and fabrication. So anyway, going back to the Maker Faire concept, again, I was interviewed by Dale Dougherty. He agreed to let us move forward. And I will qualify that the Maker Fairs are, the traditional Maker Faire is actually managed by Make magazine themselves. Their staff actually manages it, and that's why you see them in the major cities. They also have things called mini Maker Fairs, and those are done at places like Ann Arbor, which is coming up on June 4th. Rhode Island, there's a number of minis that are coming online. We will probably be the only one that's called regional, and there's reasons for that, but part of it was the negotiating back and forth between Make. But because we are managing it as a local entity, but we're going to be, we're 2 days and all these different things. We're kind of going to be seen as sort of that mid-sized model as they move forward, and these are launched into other marketplaces. So we also know it went to Ottawa this year. It's going to the UK and Africa. They're coming online probably in Australia and New Zealand next year. So Fort Wayne hit this right at the right time because we're always so last, and for once we're kind of first on the bell curve, so to speak. Our title, because we had to be, is the Fort Wayne Regional Maker Faire. Yeah, we know it kind of is along with Fort Wayne and regional kind of fight, but Make actually did our logo, and we're like, that's great, we're moving on. We got to get this thing produced. So again, the Fort Wayne Regional Maker Faire, our official name. We anticipate it is a family-friendly event. It is actually scheduled for Headwaters Park at the Lincoln Pavilion, which is the side with the awning, October 1st and 2nd, 2011, and I do have some cards I can pass out to you guys as well. Some of our goals include attractions, which are the things that will draw the public interest. So if you guys, for example, one of our guys was going to build a 10-foot fire-breathing dragon, but he and his wife decided to launch a business, so they're going to come and have their business represented instead. So I'm looking for somebody to build a 10-foot fire-breathing dragon because I think that sounds really cool. Gosh, there's all sorts of things that we're looking at right now, and I'll show you some samples of those shortly. Hands-on activities is going to be important for us as well. We want learning to be happening, so for example, we'll probably have a soldering workshop that'll be going on all weekend. And if not that, there will be some sort of learning opportunity for adult level or multi-age level, and then we'll have a place called Tinkertown for kids, younger kids, probably like that 6 to 12 range, where they can be doing hands-on activities and learning as well, because that's partly what TekVenture is about. Workshops, we might actually have seminars as well. Like, for example, I think we're going to do one on intellectual property, because a lot of makers are entrepreneurs. I mean, as I hear about Navistar and those, that business transitioning or not out of town, depending on what day it is. Some of you folks are not going to want to move, and you're what do you do? Well, you've been thinking about this idea for a long time. Now's maybe the time to try it. Where do you go make your stuff if you don't have the tools at home? We hope it'll be TekVenture. Then if it actually gets to a point where you want to actually put together a business, we'll send you out to the NIC, and they'll help you put the business plan and actually help you to get to market. So some of our other goals include 100 makers making things in our spaces, or in their spaces. So you might think of a traditional art fair your goal is to go and observe and see the art that's in the, in the booths and possibly buy. The Maker Faire is going to be different. There will be some buying opportunities, but for the most part, it's about the celebration of people making things and all the cool things that they make. We'll also have 25 vendors, our goal. So whether it's somebody like you folks who are producing, software, or ShopBot who's producing laser cutters, or CNC mills. Do you all know what 3D printing is? By the way, I've talked about that. There's a little rook sitting over there that we got again from our friends at Navistar. By the way, Navistar was going to help us with TechMobile. It was all like 90% done, and then they're like, sorry, we're moving. And so that was part of our hedge there too, but we haven't given up. We have another Navistar person on the Maker Faire committee as well. So again, 25 vendors. We'll have food. Again, our goals of 8 to 10,000 people. We'll have bands, all kinds of things to do throughout the weekend. And then I just wanted to leave with a few samples of kinds of things that we might have that would be considered attractions or perhaps even activities. This one is called the Big Dog. It was in Detroit. Most of these images are from the Detroit event. You can see it's a four-top bicycle. Is that the right? It's a quad cycle. It's not a bicycle, I guess. But there are 4 people pedaling on top, and for no apparent reason, it shoots fire out of a 25